Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muslimani Osmamandova, and I am a specialist in the technology of architecture, landscaping, and urbanism. This is our proposal for Khorog urbanization. My other team members include Kanjina Vanjova, who has specialist honors in mechanical engineering and BA in international development studies, as well as Zolis Urov, who has BA specialist honors in international development. The current diagram shows the topographical layer of Khorog town, soon to be Khorog city, with the main existing buildings, including University of Central Asia, Aga Khan Medical Center, Jamaat Khana, and Ismaili Center, as well as a presidential school and other schools, and some buildings in the botanical garden. Of course, there are a lot more buildings that are worth preserving, and as we develop the project further, we can take a more closer look at the buildings that should be preserved. Other than that, we propose that other buildings in the city to be demolished so that we can build a new. The diagram, the map of Khorog, as you can see, includes newly proposed buildings of different kinds placed all over Khorog city in a certain ratio in each street, so that it can accommodate all the different needs of the community. These include residential buildings, buildings for the elders, community centers, factories, which are business centers, as well as Jamaat Khanas. This building is the proposed residential building, which can house up to 14 families, being 7 stories tall. On each floor, 2 families will live in spacious bedrooms, where a family with 3 children can live very comfortably with all the necessary facilities. The building has foliage covering the front facade, and we believe that including greenery within our buildings will make them more eco-friendly, as well as friendly to the people living within them, and it will give them an opportunity to take care of the building like they're taking care of their garden. The building has a rooftop garden where people can relax, where children can play and enjoy themselves, and where they can connect with the sky better. Since Khorog has a lot of very mountainous regions, for example, Dash Street is located on a mountain. The slope of the mountain that is very accessible to humans can be utilized in a better way, where we can give an opportunity to the residents to have plantations on the mountains. The image shows plantations of tomatoes, of cucumbers, and a lot of other different kinds of vegetables, all planted on the mountains, as well as and gradual increase of land where flowers and other herbs can be planted. In order to make it accessible, the mountains to be accessible for older people and for people of all ages, we decided to have a lift, an elevator, which can transport people up to all the way to the top of the mountain and back down with ease. This is a precedent of a vertical garden on a building and the kind of drainage system that the facade needs to have. This specific example is located in Central Park, and it is by Atelier Jean Nouvel. We believe that this method of including greenery within our buildings, it's not difficult, although it's not been done in Khorog before. We believe that it is easy and very possible. The second building we're proposing is a masculine and feminine balance center. So as you can see, half of the building is blue and the other half is red. And these two colors are merged together, forming the building. The point of this building is for it to be located in every single street so that both men and women of all ages have a place where they can find their grounding, find their balance, connect to their ideal feminine selves, such as told to us by the people that we look up to in the Holy Family, for example, like Bibi Fatima, who presents the ideal form of feminine energy or femininity. It will allow women to connect to the essence of femininity, as well as men to connect to the essence of masculinity, like the nobility and heroism of Hazrat Ali. Of course, the masculine center is also accessible to the women because women also have that masculine, the need to balance their masculine identity, as well as the feminine is the feminine center being for males as well. This will create a stronger relationship between the sexes, and it will allow us to create a community that is truly rooted in ideals that make up a harmonious society. The next building, which we also propose to have in every single street, is the Elder Center. This Elder Center aims to bring all the elders in the community together so that their previous experiences, their knowledge can all be gathered and they can have a place where they decide on what values to pass on to the next generation. It is very important for us to have a place where the elders meet because often their knowledge is lost and we as the modern generation we lose contact with our heritage. So having this space will first of all allow them to spend quality time with each other as they gather, as well as allow them to make decisions on empower them to make decisions for the rest of the community. At the center of the building is a fountain, um, um, which has the sculpture of a white snake. The white snake symbolizes healing, and that is precisely what the elders have to offer to us. Often, as the younger generation, we are unable to see the value that our elders bring and all the difficulties or all the challenges that they have alchemized throughout their lives. So so the community having access to this will bring healing to all of the community. This next building is a factory. This specific one is located on Darsh Street and it is a metal and steel factory. The factory is designed in a way that allows for the production of these materials from raw materials. Since Khorog is in need of redevelopment, there will be a high need for materials such as steel, glass, plastic, and other materials. So it would be necessary for us to produce them in-house so that employment can be created for the community. So we propose to have one factory in each street that produces a different thing. The factory itself is made up of stone. Uh, and why did we choose to use stone in the construction? Is because it is locally available due to the land being 95% mountainous. It is strong, durable, and provides a sense of stability. There's an example of Sankalur Mosque, which is entirely made of stone, and they have done an excellent job using stone to construct in a very forms that are not challenging forms. And since the factory design is a twisted form, um, it would be a challenge to the residents of Pamir to be able to construct something like that. It can be done using with the help of machinery that precisely places the stones in the correct placement, so that even though the form is completely twisted and it's not not ordinary, it is still constructible and it still stays strong. We propose to make use of the mountain stone as much as possible and refine it by other machinery which can cut it into precise forms for construction. For the metal production factory, these are some of the machinery and these are some of the processes that are included, which include melting the metal and making it into other forms. This, of course, is dangerous work because high temperatures are being played with, and of course it will need a lot of care, and the people who will be working in all of these factories will need to be highly trained so that they are safe. The last building that we're proposing for each street is a Jamaat Khana, which is in the shape of a dome. Each street will have a dome of different colors representing different precious stones. This one, for example, located on Dash Street, represents the represents ruby. Another one in Girs represents the stone amethyst. So even though the exterior of the Jamankanas will all be different, inside they will all have the same white space where everybody will gather for prayers. It is important that all of these Jamankanas have the same form so that we create a link between all of the streets and we truly unite. It will give an opportunity for each street to create a unique colored and a unique textured building, but at the same time, they will all unite in their form. The Jamatkanas are designed in a way that they respond to solar radiation, which is very high in the region due to the city being placed very high up in the mountains. So the facade responds to the sun and closes when it is too bright and opens up again in the evenings and at other times when the sun is not too strong. Since there will be other activities happening within the Jamatkanas, this feature is very important. This shows how the facade closes and opens, and how it completely changes the form when it is closed. This spiritual space, the closing of it also allows it to become a completely private space if necessary. It is a flexible facade and it is able to open to let in light, but also closed. In order to create the facade for each building, we would need to cast glass. And one way it can be done is through the following examples of a spiritual space where borosilicate rods were melted at just the right temperatures, and they were cast as glass, as you can see in the images, and then they were installed on site on the building. So we can have a similar process which we can do in our glass factory. Why did we choose this material? Why did we choose borosilicate cast glass? Because it is transparent, it has a luminescent quality that lets light through. Symbolically, the purpose of a spiritual space is communion with light. It is able to, so this material allows this interaction with light in a very unique way. This material blocks the UV impacts of the sun while still letting natural light into the space. The image also shows egg-shaped yellow buildings, which are actually cultural centers, where the community gathers, they engage in athletic activities, and a lot of craft activities. Besides that, there is a trail built in relationship to the river. It is kind of like a dance with the river. As shown on the street gaze, which is a cultural exchange center and an amusement park mixed together, along with a very advanced transportation system. This image firstly shows a high-speed train going on the road that is proposed to be built on top of the river. And in order to make this stable, Ganjina talks about how we can use stone to make the ground more stable. So at the most top level, we have a high-speed train that is actually an international train. It goes through all the cities of all the regions of Tajikistan, and it goes all the way to China and to Uzbekistan on the other side. We believe that it would be possible for it to go through the mountains in a lot of areas to allow quick and easy transport and fast transportation between the regions. The second layer is a highway where people from the villages can travel very easily across Khorog, and across Khorog with ease, and that we don't want cars to be mixed in with the other regions, of the city, so that people are the ones who have full power over the city. They have the space is designed for them and not for the cars. So the cars being out of sight and them having their own space would allow them to drive faster and also not be in the way of people. The bottom layer is an electric battery charged vehicle that is eco-friendly, as well as only travels within Khorog. So it allows very cheap and easy and eco-friendly transportation for all the residents of Khorog. Below that is the amusement park. The amusement park contains a roller coaster. It contains a very fun mosaic tiled walkway for children, for adults, for people of all ages, enclosed by plastic roads, which we will further discuss later. We believe that plastic roads are a sustainable and creative way to build roads, as they are long-lasting, and there are places that have done that, which makes it cheap and durable and a smooth surface to walk on. This image furthermore shows the a series of residential buildings placed next to each other. So this is located in street gates where people are living people are living in a community together, and they can easily go out into the walkway, spend quality time with their children. And on the left side, there is a station, an international station, with small topographical samples, models of different countries. And these are small size and they're human scale, so that people are able to interact with the nature, with the trees of different countries, so that they can get to understand what it feels like for people of other cultures to live in their countries, and this would allow for a cultural exchange. The top arrow points to a tube placed within the river. This tube allows for energy generation. Being a advanced new technology, this allows for energy generation with very little effort. This clean hydro energy has already been built in Portland, Oregon, in the United States, and it is 18 meters long. It has 4 turbines, and it generates up to 200 kilowatts of energy, supplying about 150 homes. Although it is costly to build, it would be a worthwhile investment for the future. It is actually the first hydroelectric system designed to harness the energy in gravity-fed drinking water pipes. In comparison with wind and solar energy, it would cost 3 or 4 times more to produce the same amount of renewable energy. So this system is a lot more efficient than wind and solar energy. And given that we have water, flowing water accessible to us, we can really use it to our advantage. The plastic roads which we're proposing along the city, they have been built in Rotterdam, and they have proven to be very resilient and very durable. And we believe that this would be one of the best ways to build our roads all across the town, the city. The walkway station, the international walkway station, will span across all the streets, going from Dasht to Dakdak, from Dasht to Geis, from Geis to Bar, to Upeda, and so on. Each station, each checkpoint of the station includes multiple landscapes that are relative to the human scale, and within each one of them is a model of the landscape of the different countries. And these ones, for example, include South Africa, they include Canada, they include Australia, and so on. And as well as we have the tree species of these different countries planted right across them. So we believe that this will internationalize Khorog. It will internationalize the mindset of the residents of Khorog. It will make them it more accessible. It will make the cultures and traveling to these countries more accessible, as they will get a glimpse of it. It is a great place for children to get to know, get to play, and get to know these other countries, to know that they live amidst a pluralistic society, a diverse society.
Our project envisions great improvements in transportation within Khorog. Going beyond traditional methods of transportation and looking at mountainous areas around the world for inspiration, We propose innovative solutions to public transport. One of such solutions is a mountain elevator, a smaller version of the Beilong elevator in China. This will transport passengers to high elevations without the use of cars. Since straight cliffs are rare in Khorog, a pathway or an inclined elevator system can be built. Another form of transportation can be a gondola, specifically where the incline is small. For example, the 800-meter distance from Dakht to Dakhtak with a 30-degree slope. This is data on the costs taken from a gondola project in Japan. To further improve transportation, a cable-stayed bridge from Dakht to Khorog Botanical Garden would be built. In order to implement our ideas, we would need to build along the river, which means building on top of soft soil. This can be unstable and cause liquefaction during earthquakes. Building underground stone columns is a great solution that increases the load-bearing capacity of the soil, the stability of the construction on top, and it also absorbs earthquakes. Stone columns are made using a machine called vibrofloat, which penetrates the ground and makes a deep hole. The hole is then filled with gravel. For extremely soft soils, geosynthetic encased stone columns are needed. These are stone columns that are encased in woven geotextiles. Studies have found that building just one stone column can increase the maximum vertical stress to 20 times the strength of the soil itself. There is also a critical length at which the stone column should be built. Stone columns beyond this length will have no improvement in performance. In our research, we aim to maximize the use of stone, since it is readily available in Khorog. We found out that instead of using concrete or asphalt for building roads, there is potential in using stones and string alone. The string is made out of recycled textiles reinforced with polyester. This method is environmentally friendly because CO2 emissions are reduced by eliminating the use of concrete and bitumen from oil. It also prevents flooding, as water can permeate the surface and reach local hydrology. Several tests have been conducted to prove the strength of this technique. However, it is still in the research phase. A more developed Khorog would probably have an increased energy demand, and therefore, we need to be able to produce more energy. A study in 4 areas of Pamir concluded that solar energy has more potential than wind energy. We would also need to allow for the storage of solar energy. Another study proposed the construction of a hydroelectric power plant that uses Sares Lake as the upper reservoir. The project can produce up to 2,000 gigawatt-hour per year at a rated power of 200 to 250 megawatts for at least 10 years, after which it would reduce to 1,100 gigawatt-hour per year. The article suggests safety measures that would ensure the project is safe. Reducing the water levels would also make Sares Lake even more safe. Thank you.
This last map shows the overall, all the buildings combined together in the Khorog, in Khorog city, and this is how the potential arrangement could look. But of course, this project is a very large-scale project, and it would need a lot more time, a lot more effort to really take care of all the details to make it more and more realistic. And we would thank you for listening, and we would highly appreciate the opportunity to discuss this proposal with you further to make Khorog better, more resilient place in the world. Thank you.